I love God. I love family. I love my family. My family has been destroyed by Satan. Period. You know, we want to pinpoint human beings.
Welcome back to Juicy Reel, where we bring you the scandals, the rumors, and the jaw-dropping stories everyone's too scared to say out loud. And today, it's getting messy. They saying Kanye and Kim's oldest, Northwest, just had her medical records leaked online. And guess who people are pointing fingers at? Kanye. Not Kim, not some random hacker, but Kanye himself. Can you believe that? Now let's not forget, North is only 12, but she's been trending non-stop for reasons that make a lot of folks uncomfortable. Just the other week, the internet was at war over her style. Nose chains, shiny new piercings, and outfits that scream superstar energy, not middle school vibes. Some are cheering her on, saying, "She's Kanye's daughter, of course she's going to stand out." But others are fuming, swearing Kim is the one pulling the strings, pushing her daughter into the spotlight way too early. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more chaotic, here comes the latest bomb. Whispers that North's private medical records got leaked. But wait a second. Let's hit pause before the internet goes wild. Because here's the truth. There is zero hard proof. No receipts, no credible reports, nothing solid backing this claim. What's floating around are nothing more than blurry screenshots and shady, exclusive posts that look like the same recycled nonsense we see every single time a celebrity kid hits the headlines. Don't let the smoke and mirrors fool you. This is messy, but it's not confirmed. And let's be real for a second. Leaking a kid's private medical info isn't just messy, it's flat out illegal. So already, this whole storyline is standing on shaky ground. It's built more on speculation than truth. But here's the catch. People are ready to believe it anyway. Why? Because this family has built a reputation where chaos never seems too far away. Think about it. Kim has no problem letting North hop on TikTok in full glam, while Kanye has been shouting from the rooftops for years that he wants to shield his kids from the internet. Two completely different parenting styles, clashing in public with their child caught in the middle. So when North showed up with new piercings and a look that screamed grown superstar energy, of course the rumor mill cranked up. Suddenly, the whispers turned into medical records leaked, and Kanye's cult influence is showing. Like, do you see how wild this gets? And speaking of cults, the internet has not forgotten. People still drag up Donda Academy every time Ye's kids are in the headlines. Remember, the school shut down last year after being hit with lawsuits and Sunday service? That spiritual movement lost its tax-exempt status after the IRS stepped in. And yet, trolls still wave those receipts around whenever Kanye's name pops up, saying, "See? It's giving cult vibes." Even when the convo is literally just about a 12-year-old wearing a nose chain. So now one piercing becomes a moral debate. One rumor with zero receipts gets spun into a North's medical records leaked headline. And before you know it, this little girl's entire childhood is being dragged across social media like it's some reality show plotline. And the gag is, she didn't sign up for this. North never asked to be a viral headline at just 12 years old. But between her parents' messy history, the internet's obsession with the Kardashian West name, and the non-stop drama following this family, she's stuck in the middle of a storm she didn't create. Every outfit, every rumor, every blurry screenshot, all of it becomes another weapon in the ongoing war between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. And North? She's just standing there while her parents' narratives clash like a Zeus reunion episode. Pure chaos, cameras, and too much drama. And you already know Kim, Miss Kimberly gonna come in with that calm tone, polished PR lines, and her best protective mom vibes. Kim has been pushing the same line for years. She just wants North to be free. Free to experiment with fashion, free to play with her style, free to express herself however she wants. And let's keep it real. Kim's entire empire is built on image, branding, and being that girl. So, of course, she's guiding her daughter into the same spotlight. To Kim, the piercings and TikToks aren't shocking. They're part of raising the next Gen Z influencer, a mini mogul in training who looks like she's already got a Skims deal waiting in the wings. But then there's Kanye, and he's been dead set against all of this from day one. Y'all remember back in 2020, when he jumped on that rally stage and dropped the bombshell? "I almost killed my daughter?" He was talking about Kim allegedly considering an abortion back when she was pregnant with North. That soundbite shook the entire world. And more than that, it set the tone for everything Kanye has done since. To him, North isn't just his child, she's living proof of his divine purpose. He said over and over again that God saved her life, and that means her destiny is supposed to be bigger than TikTok, bigger than fashion weeks, bigger than a Skims campaign. Kanye has framed her as chosen, almost sacred, which is why he's fought tooth and nail over custody, schooling, and especially her being on social media. So, what we're really looking at is two totally different narratives colliding. On one side, Kim's presenting North as the stylish prodigy, the future mogul being groomed to carry on the Kardashian empire. And on the other, Kanye is standing on his faith, insisting his daughter was saved for something way beyond clothes and internet fame. Kanye isn't just calling North his daughter. He's framing her as this almost holy figure, someone chosen to walk in God's purpose. But here's the clash. Those two visions don't mix. When North's piercing hits the blogs, Kim shrugs it off like, "Relax, it's just fashion." Meanwhile, Kanye's side-eyeing the whole world, saying, "Y'all are turning my child into a spectacle instead of letting her walk in the destiny God gave her." Two parents, two totally different realities, and North caught right in the middle. Now, let's be real. Kanye isn't exactly the first name that pops up when you think of saints calling God's name, but that's beside the point, because here's where it gets real messy. That alleged medical records leak, suddenly it flips into ammo for both sides. Kim's critics swear it's proof she's overexposing her daughter, letting too much of her private life spill out for clicks and headlines. They're calling her Kris Jenner 2.0, saying she's grooming North for fame, just like Kris did with Kim. But on the flip side, Kanye's critics aren't holding back either. They're pointing straight at his cult-like antics. The secrecy at Donda Academy, kids in uniforms chanting scripture, the Sunday service choirs, and let's not forget the bizarre moments with Bianca strolling around practically naked. To them, all of that is proof North isn't protected, she's vulnerable. They say Kanye's obsession with divine destiny is just another form of control, dressed up in church robes and gospel music. Either way, both sides twist the story into their own narrative. Kim gets painted as the overexposing mom chasing clout. Kanye gets painted as the controlling father hiding behind God talk. And the gag is, neither one of them has addressed these specific rumors. Not the medical leak, not the piercings drama, nothing. Their silence leaves a wide-open lane for fans and trolls to fill in the blanks with whatever storyline they want. And stuck in the middle, a 12-year-old girl who probably just wanted to wear a nose chain and hop on TikTok without the entire world turning it into a battle over faith, fashion, and fame. At the core of all this, the drama ain't really about North at all. It's about Kim versus Kanye, freedom versus faith, fashion versus prophecy. And as long as both parents keep pushing her as a symbol instead of letting her just be a kid, The internet is going to keep twisting every little thing she does into a headline. See, this whole scandal doesn't exist in some bubble. It's tied to a history that's been building for years. The reason people even believe words like cult when they talk about Kanye is because, child, the receipts are stacked high. The alleged medical records leak. Folks only buy into it because it seems like part of a bigger pattern. And Kanye's past projects left behind enough smoke to cover a stadium. Let's start with Sunday service. Back in 2019, Kanye turned worship into a traveling performance tour. Full choirs and robes, singing on mountaintops, Hollywood elites swaying to gospel fused with trap beats. Some fans called it spiritual innovation. Others, they said it was straight-up cult energy. Why? Because there was no real pastor, no official church leadership, just Kanye preaching his own remix of the gospel. Reports even claimed attendees had to sign NDAS just to show up, and volunteers paid late, if they got paid at all. That's not giving faith community, that's giving multi-level marketing with choir robes. Then came Donda Academy. And that's when things really got spooky. Kanye opened the school in 2022, only for it to shut down in 2023 after his public meltdown. But while it lasted, the secrecy around it was wild. Parents had to sign non-disclosure agreements just to enroll their kids. The curriculum? A mystery. People online were saying it felt more like training camp for Kanye's vision than an actual school. So, when new rumors pop up about North, whether it's piercings, TikToks, or even whispers of medical records, folks instantly connect the dots back to Kanye's record. To his critics, it all fits the cult leader narrative he can't seem to shake. Teachers with no credentials, some even hired off Craigslist. That's what reports claimed about Donda Academy. And it didn't stop there. Allegedly, kids had to wear all-black Balenciaga uniforms, sit down to sushi lunches every single day, and memorize Ye's personal mantras like it was scripture. Families eventually filed lawsuits saying the whole setup was unsafe, underfunded, and less about education and more about worshiping Kanye himself. And guess who Kanye bragged would be the star pupil? Northwest. He was telling anyone who would listen that he wanted his daughter and other kids to be molded by his system instead of being indoctrinated by public schools. But when the lawsuits started rolling in, it wasn't just the academy that got dragged, the kids did too. Suddenly, North's schooling, her daily routine, even her social life got tied back to Kanye's experimental project. Fast forward to 2025, North is 12 now, experimenting with fashion, showing up on stage, popping up in TikToks with her mom. And instead of people letting her be a kid, every little thing gets dragged right back into Kanye's so-called cult energy. A piercing? They say it's rebellion from growing up under strict control. A TikTok? They say it's the fallout from Sunday service trauma. Even this alleged medical records leak, people twist it into proof she's still paying the price for her dad's delusions. And the reason it sticks? Timing. Kanye never separated his artistry from his family life, not once. He paraded his kids across Sunday service stages, dressed them in Donda Academy uniforms, and tied them into his brand at every turn. He blurred the line between music, faith, and family so tightly that now the public can't untangle North the child from North the symbol. At this point, the internet feels entitled to connect every single headline about North straight back to Ye. And honestly, it's unfair. But let's be real, it's the precedent Kanye himself set. So when whispers about her medical records started surfacing, people didn't even bother asking if it was legit. They just shrugged and said, well, this is the guy who had his kids chanting scriptures in Balenciaga while eating sushi every day. That history primed the public to believe the worst before the facts even land. But strip all the noise away, and it comes back to one painful question. What does this do to Northwest? She's not just background collateral in Kim and Kanye's custody war. She's the one carrying the weight of two parents who've turned their entire lives into spectacle. Kim? Let's not pretend we don't know her game. She's been monetizing her personal life since day one. From reality TV to courtroom live streams, everything's content. Privacy isn't in her vocabulary. It's all fair game if it feeds the brand. And now North is being pulled into that same machine. We've seen it already. TikTok lives doubling as Skims promos, paparazzi, candid shots that look suspiciously staged, and North styled like a young mogul in training. To Kim, this looks like empowerment. But child, there's a razor-thin line between expression and exploitation. Because the internet, it doesn't treat kids gently. Once North becomes content, she's trapped in a cycle of non-stop scrutiny, picked apart, judged, turned into memes, all at an age where most kids are just figuring out who they are. That spotlight is heavy, and it's one no child should have to shoulder. Meanwhile, Ye has been screaming for years about protecting his kids from Kim's world. But even his critics say his version of protection comes with its own chains. No TikTok, no exploitation, no Hollywood circus. That's how Kanye has always positioned himself, the parent fighting for innocence, the shield against the Kardashian spotlight. But what's he really doing now? The exact opposite. Look at how he treats Bianca. One minute she's in see-through fits, paraded on his arm like some accessory for the cameras. The next minute, he's preaching like he's the moral compass of the family. That hypocrisy? Nobody's missing it? And best believe North sees it too. Think about the mixed signals here. Daddy's saying one thing, then doing another. That breeds confusion, mistrust, and emotional chaos. It's the type of thing that shapes how a kid grows up seeing love, loyalty, and relationships. So when you break it down, here's the trap North is stuck in. Kim sets no boundaries, throwing her into full exposure. Kanye sets contradictions, wrapping her in instability. Both rob her of the one thing every kid needs most: safety. Children thrive on consistency, but North is growing up in a world where privacy doesn't exist and protection feels more like a PR move. One parent is pulling her toward the spotlight, the other pulling her straight into chaos. Either way, her childhood is getting consumed before our eyes. And the scariest part? This isn't just about being embarrassed online. It's deeper than TikTok headlines. It's about identity. Imagine trying to figure out who you are while the entire world debates whether you were raised in a cult, whether your mom is pimping you out for fame, and whether your dad's new wife is being paraded around like a mannequin on display. That's not normal pressure for any 12-year-old. That's generational trauma being created in real time. So, where does all this leave Northwest? At just 12 years old, she's not just a kid anymore. She's become the battleground for one of the most chaotic celebrity wars we've ever seen. Every rumor, every outfit, every blurry screenshot gets spun into a headline about her parents. And instead of letting her grow up in peace, the internet is treating her like she's a reality show character we all get to dissect. On one side, you've got Kim, calm, polished, always playing the PR game. She frames North as the stylish mogul in training, the next generation Kardashian brand builder, and the one who can carry the empire forward. But critics are calling her out, saying it's exploitation, not empowerment. That Kim's letting her daughter become content before she's even had the chance to figure out who she is. On the other side, you've got Kanye, dramatic, contradictory, and wrapped in divine language. He claims to be the protector, the parent shielding North from the Hollywood machine. But then he turns around and parades Bianca in see-through fits, leaving the world questioning if his protection is just another storyline for his own chaos. To critics, his talk about God and destiny looks more like control dressed up in scripture. And the wildest part? North is stuck in the middle, branded by her mom, sanctified by her dad, and consumed by an internet that refuses to let her just be a child. What should have been simple, a piercing, a TikTok live, a middle schooler exploring her identity, is instead turned into a scandal, a symbol, a war of narratives. At the end of the day, the real tragedy here isn't about Kim's brand or Kanye's cult vibes. It's about a 12-year-old being forced to carry the weight of both. And the scary question is this: if her childhood is already this chaotic, what happens when she grows older and starts controlling her own narrative? Will she break free of both worlds? Or will she be the one to finally merge the Kardashian empire with Kanye's vision of divine destiny? Either way, one thing is for sure. North West's story is only just beginning, and the whole world is watching. North isn't just learning how to express herself, she's learning how to distrust, how to stay hyper-aware, how to perform for an audience that never goes away. Her psyche is slowly being shaped into, I am whoever the internet says I am. And child, that's a dangerous seed to plant in any kid's mind. We've seen this story before. Celebrity children raised under the shadow of fame, from Michael Jackson's kids to Britney Spears' little sister, all wrestled with the weight of growing up in front of the world. Some cracked under the pressure, others learned how to weaponize it. North? She's already showing signs she could go either way. She mimics her parents' flair for control, the way she claps back at paparazzi, the confidence she flaunts on TikTok, the boldness in her style. On the surface, it looks like pure sass, but underneath, it's a child navigating a silent war she didn't sign up for. And the dark truth? Long-term, this can only go two ways. Either North flips the script and becomes the one Kardashian West who builds something authentic out of all the noise, or she becomes yet another cautionary tale of fame's cruelty. Because let's not twist it. Medical record rumors, cult accusations, and the non-stop spectacle aren't just messy gossip. They're shaping how a 12-year-old girl learns to see herself, her worth, her identity, and that right there is the real tragedy. Kim and Kanye both wanted the world, the fame, the influence, the empire. But the price of that hunger might not be measured in money or headlines. It might be measured in their daughter's peace of mind. And trust me, this story isn't over. If you want to catch every twist, every scandal, every shocking headline as it breaks, hit that subscribe button now. Juicy Real is where the real stories live, and the tea is only getting hotter from here.